Tonight, the Spartan Sim Racing League in its Cup Series makes its way to Pocono as they get all set for the Tricky Triangle here on Grid Vision. Good evening, everyone. Justin Prince, Brian Britt alongside Austin Jarvis producing as we get all set to see how these drivers in their Cup cars rip around this 2.5-mile track, Brian.
Yeah, definitely excited to see what these guys are, what they have in store for us. Of course, this is the first time we've called this series. I know they come well recommended, and glad we were able to fill in and cover here at the Tricky Triangle. 2.5 miles of trickiness, that's to be exact. Looks like it's about 93 degrees on the track, so that's actually quite cool, Justin. So I do expect quite a lot of grippiness. I do want to discuss a little bit of the features here tonight's race. Of course, this is a 50% fuel tank. This is an open series as well, so a lot of the guys that are, I think, running other running setups that were used in official competition, it's going to be a little bit different, Justin. So some of these guys might actually have to make adjustments to the race cars to adjust to the lighter fuel.
We'll see how these drivers in turn adapt as the night progresses. There's the track conditions you discussed. 58% humidity, it's worth noting, to also factor in with the 92 degrees Fahrenheit track temp. Mostly cloudy skies currently. 79 degrees Fahrenheit, the air temperature, but it's also very windy, with winds currently blowing towards turn 1. So expect some faster speeds down the front straightaway, but some turbulence. And if not, some headwind in turn 2. If not, some turbulence off through turn 3 tonight. But these competitors...
That could be a big deal.
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was just saying that could very much be a big deal. This track is actually probably one of the worst tracks for wind, I'd say, because of how big it is. I'm sorry to interrupt you, though, Justin. Go ahead.
It's about to say these drivers getting situated with final practice in their drivers' meeting currently. And as these competitors get ready for tonight's action, the Spartan Sim Racing League and its Cup Series, let's take a quick glance towards the schedule on Grid Vision coming into the week. As mentioned tonight, going coverage for this series before the Champion iRacing Truck Series heads over to the Milwaukee Mile tomorrow at 9 p.m. Thunderclap continues its postseason with the cutoff race at Watkins going at 8:30 p.m. before NIS Open at Richmond Friday. Also on Sunday at Richmond is the Global Racing League Truck Series at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. All here on Grid Vision. But in regard to tonight's action for this respective series, it's worth noting, coming into tonight, it's Justin Levine who leads the way in the point standings. Very notable driver we've seen at high levels in multiple leagues over the years. Timothy Latham, you could argue the same. Right now entering the night within 25 points to the back end of Levine for the standings. Ty Polito, 100,094 points with Josh Campbell and Jake Hickson, the top 5. All those names, big names in the league scene when you think about it, with several more doing well in their starts all season.
Yeah, definitely. You see Timothy Latham, I think, on our screens right now in the midst of warm-up. So a lot of these guys trying to get exactly that, warmed up. A very good qualifying effort from Latham. I do believe he's going to be starting on the outside pole. So this could be a really big day for him in the points, just considering I do believe he is in second in the points as well to Levine.
Yeah. And the interesting when it comes to Latham, in other series like Winstell, for example, with the Gen 4 cars, it's been a very rough year being Ryan Newman. This series, though, obviously very consistent for Flashpoint Racing. He and Justin Bowles doing well with their combined 3,120 team points with Dakota Jorgensen and Kento LeBron in those groupings. Dynamic Autosport, always known for having some decent drivers. Joshua Campbell amongst their top competitors. See if Campbell joins the conversation for the race win tonight. Deep in the field from quali, though, and practice in the teens.
What's really going to be interesting about tonight's race, of course, is I remember mentioning that 50% fuel window. That's going to make about an 18 to 19 lap window right there. And considering, I know in the official competition, tire wear hasn't been a significant thing until lap 20 and onward. So I don't know if tires are going to mean a whole lot tonight, Justin.
And we'll see especially how things play out for the lap 32 stage caution. That will play into a major factor for the strategy later on tonight. So just about done for final warm-ups. Drivers meeting already complete. 22 entrants making their way off to Long Pond, Pennsylvania. But happy with us tonight here on Grid Vision as these competitors get ready to make the walk to the starting grid to see who picks up the win in this 80-lap race. All the cars complete for practice, but it's Philip Henry who picks up the pole position tonight. Henry looking to hold on, picking up that top spot by a few 100s over Timothy Latham. Alongside, in third, is Edward Schurer Jr. with Kendall Levron in fourth. Charles Eden rounds out the top 5 tonight with Dakota Jorgensen. Driver to keep an eye on. He's done well in various series as of late, and 6th. Justin Levine, the points leader, looking to continue that charge from 7th with Kevin Norman in 8th. Chad Gunsingman making the start tonight as part of the Legacy Esports team with the Reaper Speed Lap paint scheme alongside Dave Fuki Jr. in the 4 machine.
Of course, 11th place, Edward Kane. 12th place is Ty Ippolito. 13th, Jake Hickson. 14th, Scott Wise. 15th, Heath Snyder. 16th, Blair Holloman. 17th, Joshua Campbell. 18th, Raymond Root. Of course, 19th, Corey Saucier. And rounding out the top 20 is Kyle Gerlach. And, of course, 21st, Jordan Sailors. And 22nd, Kevin Zaziak. That rounds out our 22-car field here as we get rolling here off the grid.
So getting all positioned here tonight. Flashpoint Racing, by the way, your team leaders in the standings entering the night by 50 points over Hyperforce Esports. Group that involves drivers with Frontline and Legacy, interestingly enough. You also have Dynamic Autosports in that conversation as well, entering the night with 33,074 points. Actually, technically, they are higher than Hyperforce by 4 points. You also throw in Rat Pack Racing in the mix with 2,089 points. The core 4 teams amongst some of your top starters here tonight, but the pressure has to be on. What's your key to winning tonight?
I think it's going to be definitely about patience and making the right moves. I think patience is going to be the big thing, because I mean, a lot of times when you're at a track like Pocono, when you try to make passes and if you don't have help, a lot of times you're going to lose more positions than you're going to gain by trying to get that temporary position. Just considering draft is huge at a track like this. I mean, even though you know, if you're better in the corners and you're able to somehow get you know, position on someone, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the pass completed if they have friends.
Philip Henry, 3rd start of the season, and one of the top drivers in the second half championship behind Ed Schurer, Kevin Zaziak, and Scott Wise. Getting ready to see if tonight starts off on the right foot. We're glad to have you with us. It's Pocono. It's the Spartan Sim Racing League Cup Series, and it's here on Grid Vision. Green flag is out. We're underway on the outside line. Already jumps past with Timothy Latham.
I do believe Philip Henry might have started in the wrong gear there. He just did not get going. The guy that was right behind him, I think that was Edward Schurer Jr., gave him a big bump to the rear end. And 25 now up in front of Kendall LeBron. That was kind of a weird start, a little unorthodox.
One of the Team Watson Racing set us back machines back to 4th early. Schurer Jr. looking for 2nd. But all that helping Latham with the clean air. Keep in mind, major draft effects to be considered tonight. Hard to break away here.
Oh, very much so. I mean, it is incredibly difficult to break away here, especially with, like I said, the tire wear just doesn't seem to be very significant, as well as you see. Looks like Edward Schurer Jr. and Kendall LeBron trying to possibly work together as Philip Henry falls in behind Timothy Latham. Also see the points leader, Justin Levine. I believe he started in 7th, already up to 5th now. Looks like someone having some issues already going down pit road, I do believe.
Jordan Sailors, yes, the 88 car, quickly off to the pit lane, not even completing a lap. Speaking of which, we have completed one for everyone else, though. Henry back to 2nd, and walking like he wants his lead back. Latham currently with the clean air. Justin Levine coming in quick, has gained 2 spots in the first 4 corners.
Also, we have a 3 wide situation going on. I believe Charles Eaton was in the middle 3 wide. I think it has settled out, but it still is side by side for, I do believe, that 9th place position, actually 8th place, considering I do believe Ty Ippolito is also involved.
Ippolito, one of the youngsters in the field, known for his experience coming from eNASCAR's Ignite Series a few years ago, trying to battle with Edward Kane. Kane getting the spot, though, top 10 for the time being.
Yeah, so a lot of guys are just trying to, I think, settle in and get their position, secure the position. It's so difficult to pass, I think, as the run goes on. We'll have to see how much tire wear has an impact. Right now, everybody's pretty much hitting their fastest laps they've hit so far. Everyone pretty much in that about 53.7 range at the moment, as we still see some side-by-side action between, I do believe, like you said, I do believe that is still Edward Kane and Ty Ippolito still battling for that ninth spot, back and forth.
Caution.
Yellow flag is out. Blair Holloman involved.
Holloman, the first caution of the night. And the Ratback Racing number 10. Got a little help hearing from Heath Snyder for first yellow flag from Pocono.
Doesn't look like a lot of damage on that race car, which is surprising just considering how high the speeds are at this racetrack. Let's take a look. Looks like Holloman was kind of moving. Well, no, I think that's exactly what happened here. Oh, yeah, a little bit of, yeah, definitely got some help there into turn 2.
So the Johnny Benson throwback paint scheme getting turned around on the tunnel turn. And in turn, drivers are already being told the potential of a shortened caution period, with thus only having 4 laps complete this time by. Now, talking about how you drive Pocono, how would you attack this track in the modern day Cup cars? Because as you see the secondary viewpoints, it's not easy to get through the tunnel turn with big differences in speed.
Oh, no, that is actually one of the most dangerous corners, I'd say, at this racetrack. This track is so much fun, though. But that is, like I said, the most dangerous place. I mean, you're going to go through there so quick. It's actually the fastest corner, I'd say, on this racetrack. I mean, it's barely even could be considered a turn in a lot of ways with how fast it is. And it's, I'd say it almost is like Darlington in a lot of ways when you're going through 1 and 2 side by side. It's almost a game of chicken, Justin.
Yeah, that's a decent way to describe it with what we've seen here over the years, to say the very least. But currently under caution for the first time tonight. As these drivers situate themselves here, reminding you that tonight's action brought to you in part by Admin Box, built by iRacers for iRacers and league and hosted races. The goal? To make race control as easy as possible. Each Admin Box connects via USB and features pre-programmed commands with no key binding for race control. Admin Box version 3.0 also has many enhancements, but mostly includes replay controls. They're also looking to expand their mounting options, including custom configurations to benefit the community. LED backlighting makes the buttons highly visible in any situation. Right now, drivers seeing the light still on top of the iRacing pace car because the majority of the field has elected to top off on gas. Now that is significant with that fuel number you talked about, already thinking about getting to the end of the stage.
Yeah, I don't think they're still not good to make it to the end of the stage. Of course, as I mentioned, 18 to 19, I do believe, is the fuel window. And that's not a long time. I mean, these guys, of course, have to make it to lap 32. So I think they still are going to possibly see some green flag stops. But I think that maybe those guys that just topped off, I think they might expect another caution, Justin. You didn't see anybody take any tires there. It was just fuel only. I don't believe we saw anybody actually take tires.
Well, there are only 4 tire sets available in the pits, and on normal fuel, we're talking about a 2-stop race. You double that potentially with the less fuel. Is that everyone holding onto those 4 sets of tires as much as they can to make sure they are ready to go when needed.
Yeah, they're definitely going to want to try to keep those tires. I'm not sure how the less fuel affects tire wear. That's going to be kind of a curious question I think we're going to end up having answered. Like I said before, in the officials, tire wear has not been a big deal until you get about to that 20-plus lap run. Everybody, the different setups that the different setup shops have been making, they seem like everybody's fairly equal in the first 20 laps. So I don't know how different everybody's going to be. Like, what kind of adjustments have these drivers made to their race cars to really, accommodate the different fuel? I mean, fuel's a big deal, I think, especially at a track like this with how loose you can get on the exits of these corners. I think that's the big thing. Also, Justin, one thing we really haven't touched on as well is shifting. Shifting is something that is very much happening throughout this field. Everyone, I would assume, is going to be shifting in at least 1 and 3. Some even maybe even be shifting in the tunnel turn.
Yeah, a lot to think about when it comes to those different marks to get that optimum power behind. Timothy Latham electing to take the top side. All set to go with Philip Henry PH3 on the inside. Then you have Leveron and Jorgensen amongst the top four. First drivers who pit, Ed Shore Jr., Raymond Root. About 11th, 12th position for this upcoming restart. So taking the chance on the track position with the fuel mileage, others wanting to hold on to it at a track where it's difficult to get back through the field.
Yeah, it very much is. I mean, it's so difficult to make passes, and when you're battling side by side, a lot of times that's going to slow you down to where you might lose track of the guys ahead of you. So this is one of those, like, side by side. I think you've even said something about this before. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else, but at a track like Indianapolis or Pocono, when you go into the corners side by side, it can take tenths off of your lap time.
See how tonight plays things out. Philip Henry, earlier tonight, the Customer Club Pole Award going their direction. Pick up $5 from Customer Club. We'll see how the racing now fares out with them back in second after dropping back from the initial rough launch. Latham's in control for the restart zone. Start off lap 7. Back on our way.
Yeah, still not a very good restart for Philip Henry. I'm just wondering if he's starting in the wrong gear. Everybody is treating him like he's got the plague, as everyone went up to the top side there and leaves him all hanging down by his lonesome on the bottom here. This looks like Kendall LeBron now up to 3rd place. I think we can. I'm not even going to try to say that.
Gunzingman.
Alrighty, Gunzingman. Okay.
Carly Munstle's in the top 5. Expect them to be fast, side by side. Justin Levine trying to pass the boss man, who nearly gets hit by Zodiac.
Yeah, definitely could end up having an accident. I know in the actual Cup race, it seemed like those guys couldn't make a lap. So I'll tell you what, these guys are doing much better than those actual NASCAR drivers.
Already a wild start for those in the heart of the pack. Levine going from 15th to 10th in the span of a lap. That's how quick that car's been throughout the week in terms of the preparation for tonight. Still seeing those several others trying to slice ahead. Raymond Root, one of those with Ryko-powered speed under the hood for the 69, making the pass.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I mean, I got to hand it to Ryko, all the setup shops. I mean, really, they've all been very, very equal this week. The competition has been so strong. As you see, Kendall LeBron starting to put some pressure there on Dakota Jorgensen. I'm sorry, I'm probably butchering his name. I do apologize.
Jorgensen.
Yeah, Jorgensen. Do apologize to him, but he's looking really quick right now. But then again, he's starting to fall back. Timothy Latham's actually getting a little bit of a gap here, almost a half a second. I wonder if he can extend this, or will the draft kind of accordion him back in, as you see the 25 of Philip Henry battling, I do believe, with the 97.
Gunzingman moving up to the top 4 in the choo-choo train effect. Eden now at the caboose. Henry getting shuffled back. But all this is allowing them to break away a little bit from Group 2. A little bit of some bobbling from Ippolito and company. Raymond Root also wants to shuffling, as well as a couple others in the heart of Group 1 as they close the gap.
Yeah, I thought Ippolito was definitely getting ready to turn Levine, but luckily that was not what happened there. As you see Raymond Root trying to work his way now up into the top 10, and wow! I do believe that was Ippolito just went down. I tell you, he cut that turn 2 very close.
Yeah, several trying to find different lines. Scott Wise amongst those. And he found the wall. So Wise, 3rd in the second half championship so far. Picking up already some contact to the fenders. Why don't we?
Yeah, this is definitely a track that's very, very easy to hit the wall, especially out of turn 3 and in turn 2. It looks like you definitely don't want to be picking up any damage here. You see side by side, where it's the 19 of Ippolito and the 69 of Root battling. Looks like Root is going to come out on top. He's going to try to push Scott Wise.
Gonna get back into the grouping for the time being as things calm down a touch. About 10 laps into the race this time by. All these drivers trying to make up some positioning. Root amongst those who pit on the last sequence. Scott Wise did not. On the top off, and he's in towards the wall again. More scrapes.
That's one thing about it with these race cars, or any race cars really. If you hit that wall once, a lot of times it tightens the car up to where you're going to hit it again. Justin Levine definitely still on the move now, up to now first place. Edward Scherer Jr. and Philip Henry now battling for the 5th spot, as you see big side drafting coming from Edward Scherer Jr. in the 14.
Can't get the full pullback, though, on Philip Henry. So Henry, for the time being, holding on for the time being. Expecting pit stops with the next 8 to 9 laps, by the way, to open up the first window of the race. Midway point of the stage, one in the wall. Edward Scherer Jr. nearly hitting the back end of the drivers in front. Possibly missed a braking mark or a lift mark.
Yeah, that almost ended up very poorly. Oh, more hits on the wall further back in the pack. Not sure who that was, but it was a big hit on the wall from that blue race car back there.
Blair Hollyman is not having a fun time so far, the Pennsylvania-based driver. Still towards the back of the field after the initial spin. Currently 21st spot.
I do believe the car I saw hit the wall very hard was actually Kevin Norman in that 98 machine.
Let's take a look at a quick viewpoint. This is the replay with Edward. He definitely chose the top. I don't think he was choosing it at first, though.
He almost looked like he was trying to pull a Chastain in turn 3 there.
That does not work at Pocono, by the way.
Yeah, I doubt it, but here's Holloman. I think he gets in the wall, but I think the 98 hits it very hard.
Here comes the battle for the lead. Dakota Jorgensen? No. Jorgensen instead electing to save gas behind Timothy Latham. And Latham, a 9-year sim racing veteran. Already 28 years old. That's how much time flies on this service. A former SRN Cup Series champion, who at one time had to win 3 races in a row to win that title.
Yeah, definitely seems like he's got a lot of experience under his belt, but I'll tell you what, big hit on the wall there from Dakota Jorgensen. Whoa, that was a hard lick right there. He's going to definitely feel that. I'm surprised it didn't crinkle that right side in quite substantially. Doesn't even look like it's damaged, but that was a hard lick. Now it's provoked 3 wide behind him.
Oh, this could get tricky. How about 4 wide at Pocono? Zipping on by Root. Levine backs out of it, but his teammate says, I want to go back into it. No, thank you. Henry staying on the inside. All this has allowed Lebron to move to 2nd and Root up to 3rd. My goodness.
Yeah, this is, I'm surprised that didn't turn into a caution. I mean, these guys were definitely driving with their heads on straight. I'll tell you, that could have ended up very poorly. But it looks like Edward Scherer Jr., of course, he got into the wall earlier. He's been helping out his teammate now of Justin Levine. Levine already up to now 4th place, side by side for 5th, though.
Levine, a lightning quick race car tonight. Up to 4th now, in fact, passing by his teammate. Latham in all this has now pulled away by the largest lead, 0.6 of a second. Now looking to set sail for Flashpoint. Problem is, it's Pocono. The lead is gone.
Yeah, it's going to go away. I mean, this is a super speedway. I mean, even though it's got, road course-like corners, it still is a super speedway. These these straightaways are the longest in NASCAR in a lot of ways, especially the front stretch is the longest in NASCAR, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it is massively quick, to say the very least, to zip around this racetrack. But as we are about halfway through this stage, mind you, fixed movers so far, Raymond Root. Most spots lost, Kevin Norman rather. But Philip Henry has fallen off a ton. The 25 is back to 10th and more contact in the lead group. Levine having to back out of it.
Yeah, Levine, I think, almost got into Kendall LeBron. I think LeBron might have had to get out of the gas to avoid hitting the wall, or maybe he did hit the wall, but he is now fallen back to 6th place. Raymond Root up to 2nd now.
Run amongst those, looking to keep it clean for Flashpoint Racing. But again, nowhere to go. Back to the line they go. But it's just about making the point. Drivers such as Henry dropping back, Jorgensen doing the same. Then you have Heath Snyder dealing with significant damage, who after picking up spots early, also going backwards along with a few others.
Yeah, definitely seems like not all cars are built the same, or some drivers might have made adjustments as well. Like I said, that 50% fuel tank, I think, provoked a lot of these drivers to make adjustments on the race cars to try to keep up with the different handling that that lighter load kind of causes. And I think some guys might have made the wrong decision. I mean, Levine seems like he looks really good. Raymond Root definitely looking really good. He is closing in quickly on Timothy Latham. But one thing about it is I think the reason that Latham has been able to hold this lead for as long as he has is the closer that you see Root gets up to the back end, I do believe, the less downforce he's going to have on that race car. And with the lighter load of the fuel, it's even less downforce.
For the race lead, Raymond Root, after topping off, looking to see if this is the time to go. Problem is, a few others want to go. It's Levine to the inside instead for second.
Yeah, Levine definitely had a good run out of, or into turn 3. Looks like he sacrificed a little bit on exit, though. And it looks like Root decides to push Timothy Latham along, and he's going to come to the inside into turn 1. And he's going to take the lead. Big Sin. Could he? Does he clear him? I think is the question. A lot of times you get that run on the exit of 1 that's better than what you can do on the bottom. I think Latham still got it. Yep.
Latham with the better line, but the side draft from Root. Pit stops closing in. Levine closing in on the inside to the tunnel turn. Root can't get that run looking for. The 2022 SNN Cup champion still can't find a way around. Levine changing the lines, his teammates starting to do the same. And here they go for second. Levine with the run.
Levine very loose off of turn 3, somehow able to maintain that run. I'm shocked. Of course, he does have the help of the 97 of Chad Gunningsman.
An absolute drag race forming up in some of these lines. Sure, now battling with his teammate, Guntingman. Now it's Root peeling Levine off the top.
And you can tell it's all about numbers right now. If you have a guy behind you, it makes it that much easier to make a pass. When you try to go out by yourself, you're not going to find much success. Oh, big wiggle there from Latham. Latham just got really loose off of turn 2.
Latham indeed into the wall. Here comes Root. Raymond Root looking for the lead for the first time tonight. On the slider. No, Latham takes it back.
Look at this. They are just everywhere on this racetrack. Look at Edward Scherer Jr. also. A lot of these guys trying to break the draft. They're using every bit of this front stretch.
Now it's Levine with the preferred line on the bottom. Levine shuts the door. His teammate boxes in Root.
Big slide job there from the one machine. Really well executed. I don't think Raymond Root's going to be happy just to stay behind this one machine, though.
Levine coming off a stellar race at IRP last week. Your Group 5 championship leader looking. Pit window is opening. Ippolito Monsto's indicating stops coming up. Does anyone stop in this pack?
I don't think some of these guys aren't going to have a choice. And here comes one. I do believe that is.
That's Charles Eden.
Ippolito.
Charles Eden. Ippolito's behind. So one of the Prodigy Esports cars is in. Philip Henry in. Dave Fuji Jr. along with Sailors Hickson Campbell also in to open the window.
Latham's going to have to come in very soon. I mean, he's one of the guys that did not fill up the tank. He's got to come in. I mean, I know Levine, Edward Scherer Jr., and Raymond Root all topped off. They should be able to go a little bit longer, but I know Latham cannot.
The 4 car has picked up a penalty speeding on the entry, so Dave Fuka Jr. potentially to lose a lap this cycle period. Levine for the lead on the outside. Latham looking for the pits, sacrifices the lead, and now here come the majority of your top runners.
Oh, whoa, that was almost, man, LeBron almost got it to the back of the 97. That was close.
Very tight window, but Levine indeed up at the front. Teammate Schur Jr. behind. Root also staying out. Only Jorgensen able to extend it past this lap for those who stayed out under the caution.
Yeah, but he is all by himself on the racetrack, so he might end up possibly even running out of gas on the racetrack here.
All cycling forward here. Remember, about a 4 or 5 lap difference in their fuel tanks. It'll be tight towards that point of end of stage. Remember, if a caution comes out after lap 30, that would complete the stage. Anytime before, we keep going. Speaking of going forward, Root electing not to make the major run, electing just to save.
Yeah, I think he's also trying to push Edward Scherer Jr. up there to Levine just to make sure he has touch with him. I don't think he doesn't want to lose touch with Justin there. But look at the gaps here between third and fourth. Heath Snyder, 4.6 seconds back. That top 7 before those pit stops, they had ran away from everyone else. I'm telling you, these guys are in another zip code when it comes to how fast they are.
Lead train a little bit different on the lines here too. Sure, having a great run for the lead though. Decided not to pass his teammate, however, as Root says, you know what, let's undercut.
And you know, it might actually not be a bad idea. I mean, I'm actually seeing tire wear be a lot more significant than I thought it was going to be.
Here's the thing, most drivers are only taking 2, if not taking fuel only 2 because of that stage caution zone.
No, that's definitely interesting. I mean, 2 tires, I'm hoping that doesn't affect anyone poorly because, I mean, this track is has a lot to do with handling. And like I said, tires are actually meaning a little bit more than I previously suspected they would. I mean, you see the leader, Justin Levine, last time by a 54.254. His fastest lap tonight was a 53.368, and that's a second of fall off.
Of note, Keith, Norbert Wetzel's who have picked up speeding. Here they come indeed, as you said. In tandem.
Almost a lockup there from Levine trying to meet pit road speed. I do believe Edward Scherer almost got into the rear end of him, but luckily that did not happen. Do have some more drivers coming in. Edward Kane, Corey Saucier also coming in pit road.
Just about everybody who topped off. In fact, everybody who topped off. Saucier having to sacrifice a bit of time in the dynamic autosport car, but it's Raymond Root who has cycled in front of everybody. So Root, who topped off, actually cycles ahead of Timothy Latham by 6-7 seconds.
And of course, Root did not take tires on his stop. He took fuel only. 7.9 seconds into his box. So that's not a long time at all for him. Wondering how that's going to affect his speed.
Oh, and hold on, someone else has cycled ahead of them both. It's Edward Scherer Jr. ahead of Justin Levine for the lead in the heart of lap traffic. All in trouble for the 14. Apparently, Edward Scherer Jr. did not get fuel in the car. He has to come back down.
Oh, wow. How is that even possible? He said he spent like 5 seconds in his box.
Remember, there's an auto fuel feature. You forget to check that, it can potentially change your fuel calculations. There he goes.
Oh, man. Justin Levine as well, I do believe 6.5 in the box, so hopefully he didn't have any similar issues. He is out front, and he does have some guys to draft on, I do believe.
That's lap traffic. In fact, Keith Norman, Dave Fuji Jr., who both had speeding penalties. That's why they're right in front of Levine. Raymond Root is still 1.7 seconds back with no help, and Timothy Latham is currently one of the quickest cars on the track after the tire strategy, with Gutsiman along with LeBron doing the same cycle.
Yeah, I think Latham, he took 2 tires, if I'm not mistaken, so I think that's going to be an interesting difference. You can see there is a difference in his lap time compared to Let's see exactly what the lap time looks like this time from Justin Levine. But we'll be able to see if he's going to be able to fight that back. I mean, I think Latham, he's catching up quickly to Root.
Side trap for second. Latham last time by 53.4, but Levine 54.2. Quicker than many, but not to the leaders. Latham is the quickest car on the track, along with Gunsingman.
Yeah, I think that Latham is going to catch up to Levine. I mean, only about 1.4 seconds separate these two drivers. With he's about 0.8 faster a lap, and they still have, I do believe, coming up to 5 laps to go in this stage. I think he's got time. He's going to catch him.
Looking for the back end of Latham. Last time it was 0.8 quicker. Now has a little bit of help. Co-opetition is the potential term that comes to mind. You try and battle, you're not catching Levine. You work together like this, you're getting there in 2 laps.
That's right. I think that's exactly right. I think Chad Gunningsman knows that as well. I think that he realizes that we need to stay in line. It's not about the temporary position. It's about the possibility of winning this stage and getting those stage points.
Coming up to lap 29 this upcoming time by. Root has fallen off with the tire strategy difference. Keep an eye on how this closes out. Remember, caution for the stage in less than 5 laps from now. It's worth noting Root is also your hard charger for tonight's race. We talked about Admin Box, the series sponsor. It just so happens that they sponsor that award for the season. $50 for the driver who improves their most amount of spots from their qualifying spot to the finish every race during the season. $25 for second place. Root currently the best spot to at least have the biggest mover tonight. Speaking of movements, this is for the lead. Latham alongside Levine. Off and away goes car 5, car 1 to second. Here it comes Gunsingman, Gunsingman inside the 97 in Sim. The 98 on every other part of the car, except for the roof.
Yeah, it looks like Latham's able to quickly get by. We'll see Levine trying to get back to the inside here. This might not be so quickly settled. Looks like Levine, yeah, he's just not able to get the runs on exit like he needs to. I think this is going to be a good thing for the 97. He's going to get clear. And I do believe we have now 3 laps to go here.
Pit road is closed. Pit road is closed for the stage. We race it out from here. Can Gunsingman get up to Latham is the question. That car's been quick. It does have some backing from Legacy, which has a connection, mind you, with some of those drivers from Flashpoint over the years.
I mean, last time by, Chad was a little bit faster. We'll see if he's able to do anything. Of course, he's by himself. That's one of the bad things about it. He does not have anyone to help him as well. So even though if he's able to get alongside the 5 machine, I don't know if it's necessarily going to be enough.
So the Hyperforce Esports driver for this series looking to see if there's any chance to chip away. Now on lap 31. It's to a pull away. And 1 lap car to deal with. Dave Fugi Jr. is still in front of these leaders, possibly feeding draft to Latham.
And there's also still the possibility that a caution comes out, but of course that would end the stage prematurely. Seeing a lot of battling here back here. I do believe Ty Ippolito back here in 9th place. Also Jake Hickson just got up to the 8th place position. So there's a lot of movement going on.
For the lead, coming to the end of the stage, Latham with the arc out high. Gunsingman trying to make it stick. Up to the wall goes the 97. Latham looks back at the line, caution is out, that's the end of the stage. The 97 wins the stage. Latham second, Levine, Levron, Root, Henry, Eden, with Hickson, Ippolito, and Snyder amongst the top 10 at the time of caution. So we'll take a quick break. When we come back, more action from Pocono. You're watching Grid Vision for coverage of the Spartan Sim Racing League Cup Series.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to coverage of the Spartan Sim Racing League and its Cup Series, brought to you in part by the Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker includes products that add incredible immersion and bring realism to every game. For every nuance, ensure you put yourself in the driver's seat. Edward Kane in control of the field, coming up to the restart next time by. Remember, strategy, mix things up a bit. Edward Kane took tires last caution, or rather last period, during the green flag run, which is why Kane is the leader. He did not pit, the only one not to pit this caution.
That's right. I do believe he's about 8 laps on his equipment right now, so he's going to be able to probably make it about probably 12 or a little bit, maybe a little bit more, just considering they have been under caution pacing right now. But this is going to be a little bit of a tricky thing for him. I don't think he's going to have a problem with pace. I think it's just going to be how long he can stay out on the racetrack. Also, we do have some guys that did take, I do believe, 2 tires and no tires on the racetrack as well. I do believe last time, Jordan Sailors, I think he took 2 tires. He's up to 5th. Edward Schurer Jr., if I'm not mistaken, I think he didn't take any tires at all, just fuel.
So a lot of different strategy decisions here. It's very curious to not take tires at Pocono, though, even with the super speedway field.
Yeah, that's definitely curious for sure. I know I called a race, I do believe, on Sunday at Pocono in the trucks, and tire wear was significant. That was a big deal. It is not anywhere near as significant in these next gens, so I think that's why a lot of these guys are feeling like they can get away with this. I'm wondering what causes it to not be as significant, because I mean, this historically in the Gen 6, I mean, tires were big at Pocono.
Here is the number to consider. The most amount of laps turned by just about the entire field that run, 20 laps. Guess what happens if we go green? The number is about 4 laps short to make it to the checkered. So a bit of a fuel save game, possibly. And as one driver has technical problems, it's Edward Kane who looks to have a chance to fly. Green flag is out, back underway. And already, drivers looking to bump draft on the high side. 3 teammates in a line. Make it 2 in a line and 1 getting ditched.
Get Kane up to the top. Here comes Latham down to the bottom into turn number 1. Let's see if tires matter.
Timothy Latham, the Tim Nation car, can't get the run yet. Levine trying to assist, though, on the draft. Latham getting the major boost, in fact, for the lead.
Here comes Edward Scherer Jr. Also, I believe he got clear of the 97. Gunningsman there. Of course, Jordan Saylor, I remember mentioning him. He's on 2 tires. He'll be battling now with R.J. Root.
And it has been a terrible race for Sailors, mind you. He's one of those drivers, remember, who hit under green to start the race on lap 3. Now he's all of a sudden in the 6th position after a 2-tire stop.
Side by side, though, for the lead. Here comes Justin Levine. He's got, I do believe, his teammate Edward Scherer right behind him. Latham, of course, has Edward Kane behind him. Kane not able to really get up there to the back end of the 5.
Side by side, a couple rows deep. Root is also coming back on the 4 tires to the next grouping of 2. B not backing off inside tunnel turn. Now it's offset 3. Here we go, making near 3-1 with a checkup for 3rd.
3-1 is definitely not what you want to be in turn 2, I'll tell you that. As here comes Levine, he's got the bottom side, I do believe.
Oh, Jordan Saylor's getting contact, puts him in the wall.
He's been steadily battling with Raven Root. Looks like Jordan Saylor's just trying desperately to hang on to these positions.
Root charge up inside, quickly clear. Raymond Root is definitely on it tempo-wise tonight. Sailors still holding on to 6 despite the shunt. For the lead again. Levine nearly passed by through the corner, instead having to regroup. Edward Scherer Jr. with a chance to potentially push here.
Yeah, I think that's what he really needs. He needs Scherer to really give him a good bump to get around that 5 machine. Still battling throughout this field, though. I do believe Chad Gunningsman, he's been falling through the field quite quickly. He's now back to 10th.
Gunningsman is loose. Drop him to 10th all of a sudden, -3 this run so far despite taking tires. For the lead though, here comes the push. Latham's lost the help. Levine is clear.
And now Scherer Jr. get clear. Ooh, not able to do so. Latham's going to stay there. Look at that, Levine. Good teammate. He's like, I'm going to go down to the bottom, give my teammate some draft to try to help him get clear of this 5.
Still trying to get the pull though. Root getting a push from Edward Kane behind him. And all of a sudden it's now a 4-car battle for the race lead. Latham with the peel off.
You've got to know that Edward Scherer Jr. and Levine are both communicating. They got to be. They got to be talking to one another right now over the radios saying, hey, oh, I think Latham just got into the wall a little bit there.
Looks okay though. Root electing to push instead. So Root electing to try and close the gap back up for now. Keyword for now. Most of the drivers, by the way, using the 1st and 2nd lines. Only one of the top group using the top right now, and Edward Kane. No one else wants to go up to that wall.
Yeah, I don't think it's really helping out Edward Kane very much either because he just got passed by Kendall LeBron. I think that Kane is struggling a little bit on the older tire right now. I think, not sure if that's actually what's at play here or if it's just his pace in general.
By the way, in the 2nd grouping, Sailors, Henry, Gunzingman, wants those back there. They're currently keeping settled in around the 54-second bracket. The leaders are running 53.5s for reference.
That is incredibly fast.
And it looks like drivers like Henry want to go. There he goes for 8th.
Keep in mind, though, Edward Kane, he's going to have to pit. He's going to have to pit probably sooner rather than later, probably in the next 7 or so, 6 or 7 laps. Everybody else still has a good bit of time until they have to actually go down pit road. You mentioned it. How do these guys get past that? You know, they're going to, if they pit once from here, they still can't make it. So how do you get past that?
Never lead a lap and save.
That's right. I mean, I think that clutching, maybe, I don't know, some guys will prioritize, you know, like you said, saving. Or
Splash and
try
dash.
to split it. Yeah, maybe a splash and dash.
Raymond Root for 3rd. Pulling back Latham. And the Prodigy Esports machine, it's one of the fastest cars on the track right now, is now back in the top 3.
Definitely a great run so far for Raymond Root. We'll have to see if he can get up there to tussle with Justin Levine and Edward Scherer Jr. Of course, those two are teammates, so it's going to be difficult. He's going to need someone to help him. Oh, big problems. Looks like someone around Kevin, no, might have been Kevin Zosiak, I believe.
Heat Schuler, several more. Caution is out. At least 4 cars involved, and hello. Let's take a look at the replay. Looks fine, and then it wasn't.
Yeah, definitely. That turn 2, that's been where we've seen the majority of the accidents, and this is a big one involving 5 or so cars.
Jorgensen involved. Zolciak getting spun around. Believe Ippolito wants those having to dodge possibly there. Indeed, yes. Let's take a look.
Look at the closing rate there from that 9. I mean, just caught up so fast as Zolciak. I think Zolciak just did not seem to get a good entry to 2 and slowed down more than I think the 9 was expecting.
And then that's Charles Eden, in fact, slamming on in, and then wow, Heath Snyder. By the way, Snyder just warned, in fact, for incident limit infraction potential. So Snyder having to think about that the rest of the way.
Yeah, I think Snyder's probably got some major damage after that hit. I mean, that was a huge front end hit there.
On board from the 29.
Oh wow. I think what happened with him, he tried to hit the brake. And I actually did a race the other day at Pocono, and for some reason about this track, I don't know what it is, but when you hit the brake at this track, it seems to just kick you sideways, almost like a dirt track does. And I think he hit the brake a little too hard, locked it up, and that caused him to not have control whenever he hit Zosiak.
So everybody has to be expected coming down as this gets drivers to a one-stop the rest of the way. Majority of the drivers taking fuel only, like Root, Levron, and Latham. Multiple others taking the 4. Levine, as well as Edward Scherer doing those 4 tire calls. Henry, Ippolito, Saucier the same. So a mixed bag again, as a lot of drivers, but rather the tire position rather than having fresh tires with the position on the track.
Yeah, I think they're just weighing it. I think that they think the tires don't matter, and track position seems to be more important. We'll have to see if that's going to be the case. I know Raymond Root was already really, really fast, so be curious to see if he's able to maintain these spots. And you know, also a big gamble for Kendall Levron as well. But I think Levine, I would not count out him or you know, some of these other drivers like, you know, well, Latham actually stayed out as well. I think he only took a fuel.
Yeah. So, as we cycle on around, let's talk a little bit about the league. And keep in mind, we've talked about some of the various awards. There's also an all-star race where one of the cool features when it comes to Spartan Sim Racing League action is they actually track who's eligible for the all-star race as the year goes on. Basically, if you're a pole sitter, you set a fastest lap, you get yourself some race wins too, you qualify for the fastest showdown at Daytona, a $50 to win race for 25 laps in October. Amongst the drivers who have qualified so far, Dakota Jorgensen, Timothy Latham, Justin Levine, Devin Medeiros, who isn't here tonight, Josh Campbell, Gage Swan, Johan Seminaro, Lamataya Polito from a fastest lap at Dover, Scott Healy, Chad Gunzingman from his previous starts, Ed Scherer, Ken Zosiak, Philip Henry did so with what's a back-to-back pole streak. In 3 race starts, he started on the pole twice. So, keep that in mind as drivers also battle for that fastest lap award tonight, which is a cash award and an all-star bid award. Edward Scherer Jr., who just recently got locked to the all-star race a few weeks ago, is currently in that position over Raymond Root.
I'll tell you what, I bet these guys are really trying to get that fastest lap, man. There's some money on the line here tonight. I think these guys definitely want to try to get it here. Pace car lights are out, though. Still time for some guys to get it.
Keep in mind the next driver in line back there, 10th off that fast lap, is Raymond Root. He is not amongst those in the race yet, per the stat sheet. So, as we get ready to go, here's how they line up for the restart. How they're positioned with Raymond Root with Kendall Levron, fuel only. Gunzingman, an 8-second stop as well in that sequence. Latham, Justin Levine on 4. Sailors, Edward Scherer on 4. Kyle Gerlach, everyone else after Philip Henry on 4. One driver currently out of the race, Kevin Soziak, who elected to come down to the pit lane prior to this restart. Just past halfway here at Pocono. Root looking to see if the track position can help him set sail after having the speed much of the night. Green, green, green.
Really good launch there for Raymond Root. I don't know if this is necessarily the launch you want, though, because I think he actually... Super Speedways, you really don't want to jump like this. This is going to be tough. I mean, these guys behind him are going to be really able to draft back up to him, but he's going to have to hope, I think, that they stay side by side, as Latham, of course, does go side by side with LeVron for that second place position. No problems for the 98.
Sailors off to the side. No caution. We stay green.
Wow, how did that not turn into a caution?
That was Norman. Yes, that was Norman, in fact, started with the blue car. But regardless, Sailors was amongst those also slipping. Now Levine is amongst those flying forward.
Keep in mind, Levine's on the new tires. This is going to show you, do they matter? He just got by Latham. Let's see here. He's going to try to work his way up to Chad Gunningsman.
So far, so solid. Raymond Root 55.8 at the stripe to start off the sequence. Remember, drivers, with the way things are shaping out, pit stops expected by around lap 65 if we stay green. The green light for gas is lap 60. It's that tight.
Yeah, so not a whole lot of room for decision making. 5 laps, pretty much, that you could decide to pit. But I mean, we've seen the short pit didn't seem like it worked very well. I know Raymond Root did it earlier. It did not seem like it played in his hands. Here comes Levine to the inside. He's going to make quick work of the 97.
Able to clear by. Now it's on for second. Levron getting a push. One of Levron's best races of the season. No move yet. Levine, though, looking for the setup.
How about this? You were talking about who can turn the fastest lap of the race. Levine just did. 53.079.
Levine, obviously, is punched already into the All-Star race, by the way, with several wins. including last time out at IRP. There's the side-by-side with Sure now making the pass on Latham. And you can argue so much about the tires not mattering so much. Whenever we've seen the data, it's pretty clear. When we get enough laps together, you want the tires.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we're having some problems in the mid-pack here. 4 wide. Oh, there goes to, I do believe that was Edward Kane around. He's down on pit road, no caution.
We stay green, the hard hit for the 0-1 car. Kane having to roll down the pit lane. And for inside the injury, a speeding penalty. Battling throughout much of the pack, sparring up. What's those looking to spar ahead? Hollyman and Saucier. Here's a look at what happened with Kane. Kane, remember, led laps earlier on tonight. Take him out of the equation from this.
Yeah, I think Holloman might have got him. Yep. I think he thought he was clear and came up into Holloman. I think the speeding penalty is going to be the least of his worries.
At the very least, a loss of lap. Here's the reason for the spin. Watch the outside. If anything, he got loose before the contact.
Yeah, for sure. And I still don't think he knew Blair Holloman was above him there.
For the lead, Levine is going. Root is squeezy. Levine is flying. Up the inside groove. Side trap from Root.
And here comes Edward Scherer Jr. He's trying to come up there and help his teammate, his Hyperforce teammate, side by side right now with his other teammate, Kendall LeVron. Of course, all 3D drivers ganging up on Raymond Root. All on TWRS powered machine.
Oh, a little push for Levine. Not able to get the full charge ahead, though. Here's the tough thing about that equation, by the way. LeVron is technically a Flashpoint car, despite working with the same setup shop technical alliance. Levine still not able to clear. Scherer Jr. not able to get to either of their bumpers.
Yeah, this is just really speaking to, I think, the speed of Raymond Root. He came in here. They unloaded with a really, really fast car. Tell you what, I mean, those Prodigy guys are always so fast. I see them in official competitions as well, and they always bring their A game.
Scherer Jr., though, wants to give Levine the A-grade push. Still can't do it quite yet. Now Philip Henry. Oh, Henry with a shove for fourth.
And they got a line of cars that are just stacking up behind him because Levine cannot get as fast. Now he's got it done.
Raymond Root gives up the spacing there after some intense battling there.
Philip Henry kind of stuck on the bottom. He's losing positions. He's doing good in the corners. I'll give him that. He's really quick in the corners.
Oh!
Slides up in front of the 97 up into the wall.
Talk about clearing yourself. Henry just barely avoids turning himself. Latham now looking for 6 after Gunzingman's back off.
It looks like this is kind of creating a little bit of a gap.
Oh, and Henry, for the second corner in a row, bump drafts LeVron into the entry. Usually don't like that.
Not at all. It's a valid strategy, though, I'll say. Some people will call it dirty, but, I mean,
caution.
It can. Oh, caution flag. Oh,
and
that is the 8.
It's Josh Campbell. Oh, and look out, Norman. Gerlach and Wise avoid contact as Norman shoots through. Campbell getting a warning for incident level. There is an 11 incident point limit in this series. He already said, his spotter said clear. He was not clear.
No, not at all. I mean, especially, he might have been clear at the time the spotter said something, but by the time he started moving up, I mean, just considering the 74 of Gerlach was up on the top side, he was going to get a better run on the exit of 3. So by the time I'm sure the spotter even got finished saying clear, he wasn't clear anymore.
So that brings out the caution, still outside the fuel window, halfway through the run. And clutch and coasting intensifies under the yellow. Here's another look from the 8.
Yeah, he definitely was not clear.
Rough night for the Dynamic Autosports cars.
Yeah, for sure. Still a long way to go too. If you're at the point of the incidents, I mean, this is a long way to go for you. Could be still a lot that can go wrong. We got to keep in mind that the closer we get to the end of this thing, the more intense it is going to continue to get. What do some of these guys do? I mean, do you see a guy like Raymond Root, Kendall LeBron, the guys that are on the older tires, Timothy Latham, Gunningsman, do you see them coming down and getting tires?
Good question. Better yet, who's going to have tire sets remaining? The rate things are going. We've seen so many top-offs that it's almost like drivers are banking on them never having to use a set almost. That almost seems to be the implication.
It's almost like they bet each other. They're like, hey man, I bet you I don't use tires this whole race.
Yeah, I don't think there is one driver on that play, but there's certainly drivers who have done fuel only at least once a lot already. We'll see if anyone comes down. Levine is showing his hand.
Levine's faking him out. That's what he was doing.
Oh, and Root, Levron, Latham, Gunziman, Hickson. Multiple drivers, almost half the field, elect to come in.
Yeah, it's interesting. Kind of figured, I don't think Root was really being faked out. I think he was just really legit going down there to get a fresh set to see what it would do for his race. He was already fast, even on the older tires, but I think this could be even more speed for him. We saw how fast Levine was. I mean, he hit record-setting laps on the new tires, so I expect this could be a good call for Raymond. He is going to lose a lot of track position, though. Let's see where he ends up off of pit road here.
Is eighth a lot?
Place. That's not that bad.
On fresh tires, that might be about for the lead in 5 laps.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, Levine, I think, at one point when he was on older tires, he was outside of the top 10, right?
Indeed. And gained 5 spots, remember, in 1 lap.
Yeah. So I think this will be nothing for Raymond to get up here and tussle with Levine here.
So as things cycle, 6 drivers electing to stay out. Levine, Schur Jr., Henry, Hollyman, Sailors. Dave Fuji Jr. is the interesting one because the 4 car has not had the prettiest of nights. A speeding penalty nearly put them a lap down. They're running last on the lead lap at one point. And now they're up to 6th, staying out on this call.
Yeah, and his last stop, I do believe he stayed about 27 seconds in the box. I don't know if that denotes or that he was getting damage repaired. So he might have some damage on that race car, too.
Keep in mind, that's from row 3 for this upcoming restart. Looks like Levine wanting to dictate the pace with his teammate, electing inside. So just about set for the restart. Gunzingman, Jorgensen, Saucier, Kane, Wise, all back down this time. So top-off time. Remember, those drivers who all pit for fuel this time can make it to 5 laps to go.
Yeah, but they still have to pit. I mean, that's, I don't know. I mean, I get that. I like that idea. Like, if they had did that, if we have another caution, like in a lap or 2, and we end up going green with 20 to go, I like that decision. But I just don't see that making much of a difference here. Unless we have a caution after the fact. When everybody's coming down for green flag pit stops and we have a caution right then and those guys were out there still, that could be big on track position. That's the only way I see that really working for them.
Keep an eye on how this all fares out. Of note, Campbell has had to pick up significant damage repairs, has jumped out of the car, had broken a tie rod. during that incident that brought out the caution flag. So it appears Campbell at least lose a couple laps.
I've been surprised with how, we've had a few accidents here. I'm surprised that we don't have more drivers that are kind of out of the competition. Still, I do believe pretty much almost the entire field still on the lead lap. Except for, I do believe, 3 drivers, which are Charles Eaton, Joshua Campbell, and Kevin Zosiak.
Campbell is now officially out of the race. He has left the garage area. Coming up, 25 to go. Green flag is out. The cone says hello.
I'll tell you what, Justin Levine just he doesn't have a lot of help right here, that's for sure. Everybody kind of just up on the top side.
Sure, Jr. Yeah, able to make the pass on the outside, Brian.
Yeah, I know, and against his own teammate as well. It didn't seem like he wanted to work with him there. And
I mean, you have a good restart. Speaking of those looking to have good restarts, Raymond Root still can't get around Ippolito so far. One of the dynamic autosports cars, Ippolito, busy looking for 6th.
Yeah, I think Root's more preoccupied with the 5. He's going to try to see if he can't make the pass on the top side here out of 3. Not able to really, he's going to get a good run, I do believe, down this front stretch.
Lined up near bumper to bumper. Not going to push Junior fully yet. And the tough thing is, even with them lined up astern, they are losing ground. Speaking of those looking to battle, this is Kyle Gerlach. Involved in that last caution period. Still not able to close up the gap yet to this grouping that's now side by side. Ippolito, a push from Root. And
Ippolito is moving right now. Whoa.
Nearly moved up the track in the Sailors, but holds on to it. Root with the push again.
A lot of pace. Him and Root seem to be working together. This Root almost gets taken, almost gets shuffled out there. The 4 of Dave Hughes Jr. trying to get underneath.
Latham wanting to go too now, looking to push whoever's in front. Latham indeed looking to the outside, waited for the chance, now has the chance.
Root into the outside wall. That could size, maybe size him, or give him the opportunity to Latham there. Latham, of course, has been fast all day in that 5 machine.
Not surprised with what we were expecting. Sailors once again going a little bit saily off the wall.
Yeah, definitely. That car has been a little questionable here during this race. But I'll tell you, he's doing well. He's up in the top 6. Got to give him some credit here. Being challenged, though, by Raymond Root.
Hearing some contact between Hickson and the 4 car. They keep battling up in front, though, with Root inside. Root. Uproot Sailors from the 6th spot.
Yeah, he had a really good run there through turn 1. Let's see if he continues to push that 19. I don't think so. I think he's like, okay, I'm done pushing you. Time to move my way up into the top 5.
The top 3 have ran away by more than a second. Second pack still hasn't reached Hollyman. That's how much they've been battling. Already Root past Ippolito. Latham still not through that Hornet's Nest yet. Latham watching the bubble from Ippolito.
A big loose condition there, I do believe, from Ippolito. I don't know what, that was a huge loose. I'm surprised he caught that. Just barely able to get out in front of Sailors. Tell you what, I've been surprised at. Look at the speed from the top 3 right now. These guys are absolutely flying Ippolito into the outside wall.
Doesn't really matter too much. The position holds on, but these drivers up front, this is huge. You can break away if you have drivers willing to work together. Guess what? Schur Jr. and Levine have been able to work with Henry to basically build a friendship pact. Two teammates and a third driver electing to hook on. This is big when it comes to this field. 2 seconds and dropping are these cars back here in this mess.
Yeah, I mean, Root is not, he's not able to really close in because of this. I mean, he's got a deficit when it comes to pace right now. He's up to 4th, though. But now the gap is 2 seconds between Raymond Root and Philip Henry, 3rd and 4th. 3 wide, though. Ippolito almost in the middle there for a second.
Hollyman having to hold firm. And Ippolito showing how close you need to get to side draft.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is kind of scary. All it takes is one little moment, especially through turn 2. I don't recommend side drafting someone through turn 2.
Yeah, there's a lot of give and take. That's why a lot of drivers do it in the down the straightaway. Then get off the fender right for the entry after you suck the air off before they can suck the air off you.
And now the fuel window has opened. Jordan Saylor was really loose down the front stretch.
He holds on to it. Still a plus 12 for the 88 car, by the way. Check that, maybe plus 10. Let's look at Schur Jr. again. Remember, around this lap was where drivers pit before. Expecting these drivers to indicate the hands out the window in the next 2 minutes. There's a look at the trap map. Keep in mind, if you pit here, you don't lose a lap if you're within this entire league group. If you're back where, say, Scott Weiss is or Edward Kane, you are at risk of losing a lap.
Yeah, that's definitely something big that these guys have got to keep in mind. I'll tell you one driver I'm surprised is still in this race is Heath Snyder. He's up to 11th right now. He's been battling with Jake Hickson. He was one that was involved heavily in a contact earlier, I do believe, with Kevin Zaziak. Huge front end damage. How is this guy still up? He's on the edge of the top 10 right now, or he is in the top 10.
Well, if you look at the front bumper, one of the magical things about the new damage model is if you spend enough time repairing your race car, just about all the damage can go away. Guess who has basically a brand new race car? Heath Snyder. They're watching Levron with Ippolito in the fence for a moment.
Yeah, Kendall LeBron's been really quick here today. I do believe he started out in the 4th place position. Ippolito's been very difficult to pass, though. Of course, LeBron has hardly no help. I think he's going to get the pass completed here. No, Ippolito almost gets the run on the exit. Here comes Saylor. Saylor's coming to pit road.
So Jordan Saylor's electing to get off those tires after slipping and sliding, and the run now firmly into the window. Signals for pit stops this time from the 4. Justin Levine has lost touch of the top 2, however. How so? Here is why. Levine was in 2nd for a moment.
Oh. I think he had to get out of the gas in order to avoid hitting that wall, and that's the worst place for that to happen, Justin. I mean, you lose so much time on the front stretch when you have to do that. When you have to lift to avoid the wall, I mean, you really want to maximize your exit speed on the front stretch. Most important corner is turn 3, and when you mess that up, you pay the price.
So Levine has lost the draft. Root is now in the draft. Pit stop in the backdrop from Blair Hollyman with the slow entry. That brings in Dave Booch Jr. Same boat. Very conservative entries. Remember, you can save or rather pick up 3 seconds if you do the entry just right.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be an interesting. I think, going back to Justin Levine, I think he's almost going to act like a go-between here for Raymond Root. He's going to give him the draft to get up there and possibly get back into contention for the win.
Change that mind, though. Schur Jr., Justin Levine, both coming this time. And does Henry come with? He does.
Only bad thing is Levine is going to be, I think when they're going to have to try to get back up together, because I think that him losing all that time is going to separate these guys. But it looks like, I don't know, Levine did catch a lot on the entry.
You got within 3 car length. Remember, tires last time by for drivers such as Root, Latham, Levron on the pit stop cycle. We'll see if Levine, Schur Jr., and several others take them. They are currently. In fact, already up on the right side of the jacks. And expecting 4 from some. Yes, in fact, all of them. This is their major final stop. Expect them to be done pitting from here.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think Root's probably not going to take tires. I think he's probably just going to take fuel because last time he pitted, he did take tires. I think he might be coming. Yeah, he's coming down now. Here comes Root.
So Raymond Root likes to cut them off of the pass. Those race leaders, despite having another 7 laps of fuel in the tank. We'll see how this works out for Root.
Yeah, I'm really looking to see if he takes just fuel. Oh, he's taking tires. Does he take just 2 or does he take 4?
Took 4 last time, he takes 2 here. How does this fare out? Philip Henry has cycled in front of both the teammates. Race coming down to the front straight away. The Hyper Force Esports drivers now within the draft of the 25. But the 2-tire call of Raymond Root is enough to cycle Root ahead of them by 4 seconds.
Yeah, that could be the race-winning move right there. We'll definitely have to keep an eye on it. I mean, who's to say we still don't see a caution or something like that as we have 13 laps to go.
Timothy Latham currently the leader. Right now it's Levron within range of the draft. Ippolito in the next pack. Snyder in the next grouping with Hickson and Gerlach. Those drivers can make it in 5 laps. We'll see what they elect to do here. Give a shout out to Hickson. It's been a very up and down night, but is one of the highest running, in fact, the current highest running dynamic auto sports car.
Yeah, he's definitely been having an up and down day, but doing pretty good. Here comes Latham down pit road along with LeBron. Wow, LeBron caught up quite a bit there to Latham.
Ron with a good pit entry. And Ippolito, now your race leader. What's the play? This is also a dynamic auto sports car, but right now only a 1.5 seconds ahead of this pack. Making 1.3 seconds. Snyder ahead of the next group.
And he's by himself. I mean, Snyder running about 2/10 faster than him last time by because he's got help. But I don't know. This is going to be interesting how this is going to shake out. I think, yeah, Root is going to be in the best position here. Lap times are looking really good for Root as well. I think he's in prime position right now to win this race.
Jake Hickson, the 34-year-old from Massachusetts, is in for their final stop. That now with 11 laps to go. And then there were 8 yet to take their final stops.
And we still got a battle there for that 5th place position. Corey Saucier and Jorgensen are still battling. Side-by-side drag racing right now.
Jorgensen, remember, recovering from that significant crash earlier. Still dealing with significant left side damage. Saucier just has been running around the mid-pack most of the race today.
They've stayed side by side. This is pretty much this entire lap.
Still not backing out. A little bit of pullback from Saucier. Still not clearing. And it's Jorgensen who goes up the track in turn. Both of these drivers on the top-off strategy during the last caution, so they might be amongst the furthest that can go on the fuel.
Yeah, they're not saving a whole lot of gas right now, though, staying side by side. If they were to stay in line, I mean, they are still side by side. This is nuts.
Ippolito, Snyder amongst those through the tunnel turn. They're still running side by side in that same section. For 6th position. And it's interesting, you have one car that is a Chase Elliott paint scheme that was made by a young fan as a drawing that they turned into a real-world paint scheme. Saucier with a bit of a sketch of the U.S. flag on the front bumper. Speaking of changes up front, Snyder has taken the lead away from Ty Ippolito. Heath Snyder has nearly spun it from the race lead and opened the battle back up instead.
Yeah, it looks like also Chad Gunningsman is going to be helping out Ty Ippolito. He takes the lead here.
Snyder is coming in this time by. Indication for the pit stop. Gunningsman watching from the outside. We'll see if he tries to pass him for a pit stop. No, he'll just make the pass in general, with Gerlach also falling into the stall. Meanwhile, up at the point, Raymond Root, still the net leader. It's 2 seconds, the gap between him and Timothy Latham. Kendall Levron, meanwhile, is leading the Henry Shore Jr. Levine group. Or was. It's getting very chaotic right now.
And still, I mean, there's time for something bad to happen. I mean, I'm telling you, I mean, we'll have to see how this kind of all plays out. Could we end up with a late race? You know what?
Don't jinx it. Do not jinx. So here comes Levine. Yeah, that was Henry into the wall. Ippolito is in this time. Gunningsman and Jorgensen, the last drivers to pit. Oh, a hard squeeze. Levron getting leaned on by Shore Jr. Already apologies on the radio.
Yeah, still racing hard. Apologizing while racing hard. Looks like Kendall, though, gets the better run off of turn 3. He's going to be able to move up into the 6th place position. Raymond Root now up to 3rd.
Timothy Latham is right now begging drivers over the radio, let's work together. They are fighting so hard, he's wondering, we're not going to catch the leader if we don't line up.
And it's possible that they could. I mean, last time by, Latham was about a tenth faster than Root. If he could get LeBron to line up with his back bumper and give him some bumps, looks like the top 2 just went down pit road. This is going to give Raymond Root the actual lead here.
Right now, Raymond Root has a 2.1 second advantage. 2-tire call for Root to get here, same for Latham and Levron. Then it's 4 tires of Shore Jr., Levine, and Henry. Coming up to 5 laps to go. Fuel window is closed. Which strategy takes the checkered? 6 to go at the stripe.
I think Raymond, he's by himself. He's by himself, and consistently, Latham has been a tenth or more faster every time. Now, if LeBron gets up there, he's going to be even faster. I mean, you see LeBron last time about 53.246, so I think Raymond might be sweating right now because he's by himself.
They're slam drafting, meanwhile, for what is 3rd spot. Levron, another slam from Shore Jr. Now he gets slammed out of the way. Levron letting them go on the outside in turn. 4 tires, turning a little bit into 12 tires nearly for a second.
Yeah, I don't think he let him go. I think he was forced to let him go more than likely. He just falls back in line. Hopefully he gets back up to speed. You can see big pushes coming from Justin Levine to Edward Shearer Jr.
5 to go. 10 miles to go. Next time by. Latham still up in front of them. 1.8 seconds the difference. They need to close up a lot of time and fast.
And you know Root is looking in his rearview mirror. Last time by about a tenth and a half slower than Latham. But I don't know though. I mean, He's still able to, he's maintaining somewhat of a gap here. I don't know I think they might run out of time. I don't know if they're going to catch him. If they can get a sniff of his draft, that might be the difference maker.
Everyone lining up in that second group. Back down the line, at the stripe, Root 53.5. 2/10 lost by Latham. Sure, Jr. and Levine are the fastest cars to the track, by the way. But now it becomes the question, do you pass Latham or do you push Latham?
I almost feel like Latham did that on purpose. I think he fell back so they would be able to get onto his bumper. Because he wants them to work with him, and I think he purposely slowed down.
But can it work with him on 2 tires is the biggest question.
That's a good question, yeah. Maybe that could be why he's slower too. Coming up to 3 laps to go. These guys are running out of time. 1.7 seconds is the gap between first and second right now.
Right now, trimming down the gap by about a 10th or 2 down the front straight away. Can they do anything to pass the 69? Last time, 3/10 quicker. They need to pick up about 7/10 or so this lap to realistically get into the draft for the white flag lap.
That's right. I think they need to get the draft, and I think they're getting closer and closer to being able to actually accomplish that. Coming to 2 laps to go. Can they make it happen? Raymond Root trying to go to victory lane here tonight. Can Timothy Latham spoil it?
Root is very much struggling, though. He cannot get to the bottom. That cost him another 2/10. Still not fully within the draft, Latham, Shore Jr., Levine, but Root's gap is going down and fast.
Also keep in mind how good this win would be for Latham. Latham is second in the points right now to Justin Levine. This would be a big night for him.
Let's
see some battling going on here. Levine and Edward Scherer Jr.
Oh, contact! Into the wall goes Levron. Levron, remember, was pushed out of the way for a spot. Tempers flaring on the radio. The 28 with a problem down the straightaway coming up to the final lap.
And that could be, because those guys stopped working together, that could be the race win for Raymond Root. Final lap, white flag is out. Next flag will end it.
Root leading by 1.3 seconds. Has had to battle all night long to be in this position. Strategy differences all night long, being off the cycles, being on the 2 stops, being on the no tires. All sorts of different plays. Guess what? Root just so happened to have the right play, it looks like, to try and win this race.
What a well-played strategy for him. I mean, taking tires when he did and then taking 2 tires on that final stop really just did exactly what he needed to do. And, of course, those guys not working together, everything worked into his favor here tonight as he comes off of turn 3.
Checker flag waves. It's Raymond Root who wins it at Pocono. Latham and Levine, the top 3. Shore Jr. and Philip Henry, a top 5 for the 2-time pole sitter. Several drivers still side by side outside the top 10. Sailors holding on Foods Jr. with Gerlach and Hollyman back there. Saucier ends up being the first driver lap down. Edward Kane the last on the lead lap. 2 drivers still yet to finish. Charles Eden, Kevin Zosiak, or several laps down. So it's Raymond Root who takes the win, though, at Pocono. He played it smart. He played it fast. And now he gets to sing along the front straightaway and make those tires swing.
And also think about this, too. I mean, you talk about him being a hard charger. He won this race from 18th place. That's where he started. What a great job to him.
Great race all tonight. It's Raymond Root picks up the win. And as Root burns it down, let's follow along with the unofficial race results. Root picks up the win by 1.2 seconds over Latham. Levine, Schurer Jr., and Philip Henry picks up the best lap of the race. Give him $5 in start number 3. He finishes in 5th. Levron, Guntingman, Hickson, and Snyder, along with Ty Ippolito, a top 10 run.
Of course, 11th place Jordan Sailors, 12th place Dave Hughes Jr., 13th Kyle Gerlach, 14th Blair Holloman, 15th place Dakota Jorgensen, 16th place Kevin Norman, 17th Edward Kane, 18th Corey Saucier, 19th Scott Wise, 20th Charles Eaton, 21st Kevin Zaziak, and of course 22nd Joshua Campbell.
That's a look top to bottom at the running order here tonight. 22 car start. 20 take the checkered flag here at Pocono. A lot to think about. The drivers taking their time to make their way towards the victory lane celebration. We'll talk to the top 3 just a couple of moments here. You're watching Grid Vision for coverage of the Spartan Sim Racing League Cup Series from Long Pond, Pennsylvania. Welcome back to Pocono for coverage of the Spartan Sim Racing League Cup Series. Justin Prince, Brian Britt, Austin Jarbyshire with you as we start things off by speaking with third place finisher Justin Levine. Justin, it's been a while speaking wise. Very stellar season, but a third place run tonight. Talk us through that battle that seemed to go on in that pack as you were trying to reel down Raymond Root.
What's going on, Prince? Long time no see. But that was a bit frustrating there. Needed everybody to just link up and push each other on the straightaways, and unfortunately, cars just couldn't get there, and we couldn't figure it out. And great job on Ray's part. Ray had a hell of a pit stop, probably 2-tire fire over there. But frustrating watching him drive away like that.
It almost sounded like on the radio, Timothy Latham was asking everyone, work together, let's go. And you guys were closing until the fireworks went off with about 2 to go.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. We just couldn't get the 28 to get the momentum he needed to get to Tim. So when he got tight there, we were hoping that he would just fall in line and hopefully let Ed by, but it didn't work there. And as soon as we got side by side, the run was over.
So when it comes to the car, though, tonight, very quick, what was that preparation process like to get the speed into this race car, get it ready for tonight? Because you were passing on some of the restarts 5-6 cars in one lap.
It took all week, but unfortunately, I accidentally left the qualifying set in, so it took a few cautions to get this car to drive the way it did.
Well, congratulations on making it through with the qualifying setup. It's very quick.
That in his first 5 laps, I feel like I could drive right to the lead. After that, I'm hanging on for dear life. It was wrecking loose, and I'm sure you guys saw me come out of turn 3 there completely sideways.
Well, either way, congratulations on the top 3 tonight, Justin.
Thank you, Prince.
Justin Levine, third place run tonight. Second place, Timothy Latham. He's with Brian.
Timothy, definitely a good job for you here tonight. Of course, I'm sure you wanted, we heard on the radios, you wanting everybody to kind of work together to catch up there to Raymond Root. Does not seem like that really was the case and didn't work out that way, but you still got some much-needed points over Justin Levine. How you feeling about tonight's event?
It felt pretty good. I just, I wish we could have, got coordinated and caught up with them. Like you said, they're back there racing for third. As soon as they got to us, I think Henry got to the inside of LeBron there, and as soon as that happened, I knew we were going to lose some time, and I just tried as quickly as possible to get them to work together. But I'll take a second. I think P2 was the theme for me for the night. I qualified P2, got P2 in the stage because I was letting Chad lead a lap, and then I finished P2. So it's a good day. Good to be ahead of Levine in both the stage and the finish, so we can get some points on him, and hopefully we can retake this points lead soon.
Yeah, I definitely think you'll be able to hopefully do that. I mean, with your performance here tonight, of course, definitely a little. I understand the frustrations, guys not being wanting to get in line. I get that for sure, but still not a bad day for you at all. Could have been a lot worse for sure. Who can we give a shout out to after your second place finish here tonight?
Just everybody at Flashpoint. We did a good job. Practice before the official practice, had some laps in, and dialed the setup in really good. I want to thank Raise Energy, Rep Sports, those guys for giving me the opportunity to put them on the car and show them some love. And shout out to the admins for putting this stuff together. And shout out to you guys for coming in, stepping in on this week. We appreciate it. And I will definitely watch this one back.
All right, well, definitely appreciate you as well for making it definitely very exciting. We were like, is Timothy going to catch him? We were definitely on the edge of our seats, Timothy. Well, you have a great night, brother.
All right, you too.
All righty, that was Timothy Latham. Of course, next up, I do believe Justin Prince is going to be standing by with our race winner, RJ Root.
Yes, indeed. Raymond Root coming away with the checkered flag tonight. Biggest mover through the field tonight as well, Raymond. Talk us through the multiple plays to get yourself here this evening to the checkered.
We had such a fast car. Just driving through the field, slowly making up ground everywhere we can, playing the right strategy, not taking tires at all during the first stage to have extra sets in the final stage. I took 4 tires on the last caution when everybody else stayed out, and that way when I pit under green flag, I could take 2 tires and kind of jump the field. And as soon as I saw Timothy come out in between me and Levine, I knew I had it right then and there, because I was able to be as fast as them working together with him on 2 tires as myself alone with the 2 tires.
They were having a bit of a hard time, I will tell you, to work together in the final run, as Justin Levine will say. But it also seemed that car had a lot of pace from the get-go. You mentioned from that. What was that process like in the week to get this car ready for this race this week, to have enough pace to battle it out for the checkered?
Ryko Performance gives us amazing setups every single week. I know I ran probably 6 A Opens last week. I have a full-length league on Sunday nights that I run, so I got a lot of laps in here this week.
Yes, indeed. So, impressive run here tonight, to say the very least. Now what's that focus like as the rest of the campaign moves forward? Coming into tonight, previously 74 points at IRP. Now you get the W. What's the focus now like, with a lot of action left to go on the season?
I just keep going week to week, making the most out of every single race that we get to run. Trying to make the sponsors look good.
Well, next time out, by the way, is Michigan, with a stage break on lap 40, August the 7th, that respective time, or an afternoon in sim time, I should rather say, for that respective date. Either way, congratulations on the victory today. And congratulations on joining the conversation after some busy battling here tonight.
Thank you.
That's Raymond Root coming away with the victory here tonight. I'd like to thank him as well as Timothy Latham, Justin Levine, to take the time to speak with us during post-race coverage here on Grid Vision. Brian, your final thoughts with Spartan Sim Racing League action.
I definitely enjoyed calling this league. I think it was very exciting. I mean, we saw 3-4 wide racing. We saw fuel come into play. I mean, green flag pit stops, everything we could possibly want to see, we saw here tonight. And these guys definitely left a good impression on me. And I hope they're not too mad at me for butchering their names. That's my final thought.
A lot of fast drivers, though, you have to say, when it comes to the series.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about that. Next time out, though, for these drivers, I was right on the initial date. It is August the 7th in Michigan for a day race. We'll see that later on in the next few weeks. So they have a couple weeks off before they get rolling just past the civic holiday. With that, though, it's time to say goodbye. For my broadcast partner tonight, Brian Britt, for Austin John Richard, just Prince saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You've been watching the Spartan Sim Racing League Cup Series from iRacing's Virtual Pocono Raceway. Good night.